have to say it because it affected me so much in the UK, is safety and very, very low crime rates. I mean, I've been here for a whole year and I think I've seen a police car once. We open the front door, there's a mat down below, and we look below and our keys are there. So what I think happened is they took both of the keys and then they decided not to take our Nissan note, right? Because who wants to steal a Nissan note? Literally put everything onto Gumtree. And that in itself was traumatic for me. We purchased all this furniture. We gathered all of this stuff that we'd gathered over years, that was in their garage, that was in their 5 reasons why I left the UK. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about myself, my husband, and our 2 kids. I have one 19-year-old and one 6-year-old son. And last year, we made the decision to leave the UK for Dubai, which we now live in. Now, it wasn't an easy decision. Believe me, it literally took my husband about 2 years of persuading me that Dubai was a great place to live. And I was, of course, of the mindset, being raised and born in the UK, I loved my greenery. I loved my long morning walks. I do a 2-hour walk every morning. So I thought, I can't give that up. I'm not willing to give it up. And then, of course, there was the crazy summer heat. The heat and nature, and those 2 things. Oh, and don't get me started on the whole materialism of it, right? It's so commercial, it's so materialistic. So they were the 3 main reasons why I held back. So lo and behold, another 2 years passed after we spoke about it, and we'd visited Dubai about 5 times in the past 10 years. So I knew what it was about, I knew what the people were about. However, we did go to more touristy resorts, so obviously that isn't the correct perception of Dubai. Every country has tourism, and then they have real places where people live. So that was just something that I also thought about. So anyway, fast forward to last year, or just before last year, 6 months before that, and we made the decision to leave. We made the decision to sell everything. So I literally sold my house, I sold my car, and I sold everything in it. We went onto Gumtree and we literally put everything onto Gumtree. And that in itself was traumatic for me. We purchased all this furniture. We gathered all of this stuff that we gathered over years, that was in their garage, that was in their house. And then I put it on Gumtree thinking I'd make a small fortune and that would pay for our furniture in Dubai. And I think I was aiming to make something like £2,000 or £3,000. And I would definitely say that I was lucky if I made about £300 from it all. And this was like £1,000 barbecue. It was like a £3,000 city suite. It was all this really expensive stuff. And you know what? It gave me the rude awakening that all this stuff that we buy brand new has absolutely zero value once you remove it from the retail space. So that was just something that I learned. Anyway, so fast forward to a year now. I've been living here in Dubai with my family, my 2 children. We lived in one place when we first got here. We've now moved to another place, so I can make another video on that. But let's get into the realism as to the 5 reasons why I moved to Dubai. So first of all, I just want to give you a bit of the statistics around the people from the UK that are actually moving to Dubai. And there's actually a ton of them, and it's only set to grow. I think about 2 years ago, there was about 3,500 people from the UK who'd come to Dubai. And now there's projected in the next 3 years to be a 420% increase on the numbers that are coming into Dubai. So why is this? And this pertains back to some of the reasons why I moved here. So first and foremost, reason number 1 why we moved to Dubai is because of the quality of life. In terms of quality of life, I mean the food, energy bills, transportation, and all those good things that we need to fund our everyday lives. Those things that take a lot of money for us. The quality of the food is the quality of our health. How much our energy bills cost affects how much is outgoing from our pocket. And as a family in the UK, I was seeing that this was just increasing. It was getting so high and it was becoming a really unrealistic number. Is this just energy for gas, electric, council tax? Is this how much I'm paying for that? So that became a massive, massive problem for us because they only started to go one way. And as a family who's trying to, put their children through education and trying to set my teenager on the right path in life, you need to start thinking about reserving some of your cash funds rather than your expenses are going through the roof. So that didn't help at all. Now, in Dubai, I'm not going to say that the food has been cheaper. It hasn't been cheaper, but it's actually the same amount. And what I would actually say is that the quality of the food, in my opinion, is a lot better. So much more organic meat available. It feels like that most of the meat in the supermarket is organic. So you don't have to get this, over injected, over hormonized meat all the time, which is no good for us as human beings. So that was one of the first things that I noticed. And the food, surprisingly, if you live in a reasonable area, I'm not talking about in JVR or on the marina, because they add about 15% to the food prices, which you're going to expect. It's like going into central London and not expecting to pay, 10 to 12 pounds for a waffle. It's just the way it is in the tourism sites. So I noticed that. What else? The energy bills. Energy here is really low. Like the cost of gas, electricity is really, really conservative. I wouldn't say it's low. I'd say it's very conservative. For us to basically, for the electric, the water and the gas a month, it costs us, for a family of four in a 4-bedroom house, it costs us £500. And I would say that's really, really reasonable. Now, a lot of the stuff here is AC, so you're also paying for that, which is lovely and cool inside all year round. So that is a must, a must, a must. The actual housing that's available in Dubai is a lot more spacious. I think you get a lot more land for your money. Because there's more land here, I think they use, each room has a bigger space in it. I'm here in this lounge stroke kitchen, and it's really, really spacious. It feels more spacious than the one that I had in the UK. So I love that about this. They have tons of toilets and bathrooms, which is lovely. And then they also have a smaller back room if you choose to go down and have a maid route, which is totally your decision. If that's what you choose, we use it as a guest room for now. So they're the three main things that were involved in the quality of life aspect. That was reason one why I moved here. Reason number two why we moved to Dubai was, and I'm going to have to say it because it affected me so much in the UK, is safety and very, very low crime rates. I mean, I've been here for a whole year and I think I've seen a police car once. Now, at the end of the day, when you get to Dubai, you kind of understand that there's rules in place, no spitting gum out on the street, no swearing, no spitting, all this stuff that it just happens in London. A lot of people just do it and they just don't think any way about it because they know there's repercussions. Whereas here, there's a lot more rules. Me personally, I actually love that. I love the fact that there's rules that how you need to conduct yourself when you're in an outside space, because at the end of the day, that is going to affect your whole quality of living also. So in terms of safety, there was quite a few incidents that has happened in the UK to myself and my family where I just thought, you know what, this isn't like the lovely UK that it used to be. I was born and raised in the UK and I absolutely love it. So this isn't a video to berate the UK or anything. It gave me the opportunity of education. It gave me my passport. It gave me my nationality. It gave me a lot of opportunity and resources that I needed to flourish. My parents immigrated in 75 to the UK. So I'm forever grateful in the UK. But at the end of the day, I refuse to stay in a place that is no longer going to give my next generation, my children, that same opportunity that we had when we first came to the UK, because things have changed. Politically, things have just changed. So I feel like that it's time to move on. As parents, we want to give our children the next best, the way that they're going to actually thrive as the next generation. So I feel like, it was our job to actually try and take them to a different place and see what opportunities that poses and how that affects their growth of character and all those opportunities that are available. So that's basically that element. And there were a couple of incidents in the UK that really, really traumatized me in terms of crime, in terms of robberies. And I mean, I'm going to say it, my house was robbed. Some guys, they'd got in through the front door. I'm not sure how. They have all these mechanisms nowadays. And they actually there were two cars. One was an Audi A4. So I've got to tell this story. It's really funny. I think it's really funny thinking back at it. So my brother had an A4 and we had a Nissan Note. And in the morning, what happened is no one heard them. They were super silent. So I don't know how they did it. Obviously, we had left our keys downstairs. Big no. Never leave your keys downstairs. Never, ever, ever, ever. Always take them upstairs with you. So we left them downstairs. That was our bad. But anyway, they in the morning we came downstairs and then my brother said, oh my gosh, my car's gone. And then we got worried and distraught about ours. So we ran out and we opened the front door and our car was still there. And as we open the front door, there's a mat down below and we look below and our keys are there. So what I think happened is they took both of the keys and then they decided not to take our Nissan Note, right? Because who wants to steal a Nissan Note? So in that very moment, I was super happy that we had a Nissan Note at that time. But anyway, that was just one incident that happened. And then there were so many others, but not just that. My child, he's a 19-year-old teenager. So he's out at night. And just the thought of going out at night and the amount of the crime rates, rising and stabbings and all this nonsense. Every night I would be frantic with worry. I'd be calling him every 15 minutes, where are you? Where are you? And thinking he'd be walking under an underpass. He didn't have his driving license at that time. So all that frantic worry, thinking, is something going to happen to him? Is someone going to not recognize him and think he's somebody else and something's going to happen? There's going to be an altercation. And something of that sort had happened already. So that's why I had that fear and that just reinforced that. And it wasn't a nice place for me to be as a mother. So in Dubai, obviously it's the polar opposite. I mean, the first night we got here, just to put it into context, we both went out for a walk at 4 a.m. in the morning. There was a lot of jet lag going on. And we went for a walk. And I mean, I get up at 5 a.m. sometimes and I go for a walk. And I have not one doubt in my mind that anything is going to happen of that sort. So there's my younger child. You go down to the shops and you see 7-year-olds on their bikes going to the shops, and you ask them where they live and they're telling you they live at the next block. And I mean, it's just lovely to have that peace of mind for the safety of your children. So that's reason number 2. Reason number 3 why we moved to Dubai is taxes. Yep, one of the main reasons why a lot of people move to the UAE from the UK is because of the taxes. What taxes? Court tax, council tax, road tax, then there's inheritance tax, capital gains tax. There's a lot of these taxes. And of course, everyone should pay their fair share. And that's fine, because that's how I grew up. I grew up on the benefit system. I grew up in that system. I get it. I get how it works. However, you can't consistently be raising these taxes because you have put a system in place that you have let get out of control, and the people have to pay the penalty. I mean, I just think about my council tax, and I think the area that I lived in, it was something like in excess of 300 and something pound. And I mean, when it comes to bin day, they're asking me to take my own bins out of the big black bin. When it's summer, there's wonderful maggots and everything all in there, and I'm paying 300 and something pound every month for, I'm not exactly sure what benefit am I getting personally? So anyway, it's not just that, it's all these other taxes. It's the inheritance tax, it's the capital gains, there's tax upon tax upon tax, and it's never consistent, it's just consistently rising. I know what you're thinking, the UAE, they've introduced corp tax too. And that's fine, because I'm not saying that the UAE is the bee's knees and it's never going to, change, and they're never going to increase their taxes. What I am saying is, for this very moment in our lives as a family, trying to create a business, trying to set our kids up for the future, that this is a great place for right here and right now. So that's the 3rd reason why we moved to the UAE. The 4th reason why we moved here is because I don't particularly like the cold weather. I actually feel like it makes me feel a very, very different way. Think about the days when you wake up. When you wake up to a cold, miserable morning, how do you feel? When you wake up and the sun's out, the sky is blue, and you can see it shining through your window, how do you feel? I know how I feel. It makes me feel super positive. It makes me feel a bit happier than I would have, and it makes me feel energetic. So at the end of the day, if I can try and cater my life to have that environment all the time, they say set up your environment for success. How do you do that? You have to remove yourself from the environment that is not successful for you and try and find one that is. So at the end of the day, in terms of weather, 7 months of the year, it's beautiful. It's from 25 to like 33, which is absolutely lovely. But then there's the dreaded 4 months, which are literally hell on earth heat. You've never felt heat like this before. Well, I certainly never have. Last summer, I came here and I literally could not bear to be outside for more than 2 minutes. I mean, we're talking about 45 to 50 degrees. And this is for 4 months throughout the summer. So this happens from May, June, July, August. And it's absolutely unbearable. So in terms of that, I did get the sun that I wanted, but sometimes be careful what you wish for, right? Because it's absolutely unbearable. So what we've decided as a family is next year, for about 3 or 4 months, we are going to go somewhere else that's maybe closer. And there's some lovely places that I now became aware of that I never knew. There's Georgia, which is right next to us here. And then there's even Bali, which is a bit further away. And it is quite cost effective to get there. So that's not going to be a massive expense. And then there's even traveling back to the UK to actually see family and friends. So we have those options to think about. So that's one of the reasons as well. The weather, it's massive. I think I saw an Instagram reel and it was like, all the seasons in one day for the UK, and that's what you get. And sometimes it does feel like that. And I think the more we can control our environmental factors around us, the more that we can actually live the life that we want to live. So that's reason number 4. Reason number 5, why we moved to Dubai, is for the entrepreneurship. Look, I didn't know what an entrepreneur was. I didn't know what a business person was until I was about 20. I was never surrounded by those types of people. They were all workers. As I got older and older, I started to understand you can make your own money. You can make your own living. You don't have to work for somebody else. But I only started to get to know that by surrounding myself or by 1 or 2 people within my family becoming business people. So at the end of the day, the essence of everything that I try to do in my life is be around those people that you want to become like, because it's the fastest and the quickest way to become like that. So what we did is we surrounded ourselves with entrepreneurs. Now, because there's no state system in the UAE, you have to come here and you have to work. And people who have to work have to create a business. If you create a business, you're an entrepreneur. So if you're consistently surrounded by entrepreneurs, you are definitely, it's going to rub off on you. You're going to be in a mindset of like-minded community. You're going to start to see what everyone's doing here, and it's really going to rub off on you. But not only that, that's all that your kids are going to see as well. If your children are consistently exposed to that type of environment that's thriving with entrepreneurship, that's looking to become the technological hub of the world, then you're in a great place. You're giving them a great start. But not only that, what I love the most, and I would probably say this is the best thing that I love about Dubai, is the networking potential that you get. There are so many events that happen in Dubai. There's BNI networking. I'm not sure if you've heard of that. I heard about it back in the UK and I've joined them since I come here. I just love being a part of that networking group, like-minded business owners from all over the world that you get to connect with. There's meetups happening, there's speed networking, there's so many different groups that I've now become a part of. And you start to realize that Dubai is actually quite small. You get through all these networking events and then you do a full circle and start seeing all the same people within the events. So that's amazing. But what's also lovely is that everyone is ready to grow and they are open to talking to you. There's none of this, closed mindset. It's all a growth mindset. I can learn something from you. Let's catch up. Let's talk. And I love that. Even if you can't help them in the moment or they can't help you, it's always great to know that there's someone like that you meet at networking. So for that reason, I really love the mindset when it comes to entrepreneurship in Dubai. So in summary, it was a very, very difficult decision. My family, my children were uprooted from their family, from their friends, from all that they'd known their whole life. It was a big decision to make. And sometimes I absolutely, feel super traumatic that I'd made that decision. I'd left my family in another country, my mom, my in-laws, all of that. And now a year later, I won't say it's been easy, but I feel really comfortable with the decision I've made. And now I'm not going to say it's forever, but it's for now, and it's serving me and my family really well. So what I want to ask you is leave some comments below about what your thoughts are. What your thoughts are about where you are right now. Are you thinking of leaving? Have you looked into different countries that you could possibly go to? What are your concerns? What are the main things that you have to take into consideration when moving to a new country? Of course, it's costs, it's where you're going to live, it's the food available, it's the cost of bills, all that sort of good stuff, healthcare, education. Oh, we didn't go into that. Maybe I'll do another video on that. But let me know, comment below on what you'd like to see on the next video. I've been in Dubai, so I've done driving in Dubai, looking at schools in Dubai, healthcare in Dubai. We've done so much. So comment in the below with what you want to see the next video on. Thanks for watching and take care for now.